All right, so as an Oklahoma fan, I'm extremely frustrated on a Sunday because after the third straight loss for the Oklahoma Sooners, it's frustrating to be an Oklahoma fan right now. And I feel you all, right? I feel it. And so it's so negative because there's so many things that you could point to that just need to be fixed. And I feel like we need to talk about it at some point. But after T. Higgins decided that he was going to be out this week for my fantasy team an hour before I needed to change my lineups and I was busy, I got to find a positive to just get me through, right? Like football has not been my sport this year. So I said, okay, where did Oklahoma find something in this Ole Miss game that maybe they can use for the rest of the season and maybe even build upon into next season? And that's Jacob Jordan. And I don't think we've talked about him enough. I know we didn't talk about him enough last week, and that was because the previous weeks, whether it was a J.J. Hester or a Jacquez Petaway or a Zion Kearney, we talked about the great weeks they had at wide receiver, and then the next week they just fell off. So I was like, you know what? We're really not going to talk about it a whole lot because I don't want to jinx it. Well, Jacob Jordan came back out this week and had 6 receptions for 38 yards. The craziest part about this was he's a preferred walk-on. Out of all the wide receivers that you have right now, Jacquez Petaway, Zion Kearney, Zion Emergence, J.J. Hester, he had the most receptions, the most yards, and the most touchdowns out of all those wide receivers. In fact, there were only 2 wide receivers this game to make a catch. J.J. Hester, Jacob Jordan. I'm gonna say this a couple times throughout the stream because I just want to drill this into your head. J.J. Hester is on scholarship, and Jacob Jordan is a PWO. The thing about Jacob Jordan is, and this is now my hope, I want you guys to jump in the comments and let me know if you guys kind of agree with me on this and think that this could be something for Oklahoma. Jacob Jordan could be similar to Drake Stoops now because he is a guy, similar build, that I think Jackson Arnold could potentially look for every single play. And you're going to find him in the middle of the field or downfield, scrapping to create separation or just make a play. And in multiple times when Drake Stoops was here at Oklahoma, you saw him in like a 3rd and short or like a 2nd and like 15. Like in the 3rd and shorts, he would get you the first down, right? On the 2nd and longs, he was, again, running those short routes, but he would be able to get you like 10 or 12 yards after the catch. And I'm starting to feel like that's what Jacob Jordan can be at Oklahoma. And if that's all he ever can be at Oklahoma, he's going to be a really good damn football player at Oklahoma. And that's the kind of player you need right now. Again, Jacob Jordan is a preferred walk-on, and J.J. Hester is a scholarship player. Jacob Jordan caught 6 passes. J.J. Hester caught 1. I also want to go by this. I'm going to say this one more time, just to drill it in your head. Jacob Jordan is a preferred walk-on, and he is now the 4th best wide receiver on the team. 4th best. Finally, somebody was able to overtake Deion Burks in receiving yards. Bauer Sharp now has 242. Deion Burks only has 201. But you look at the guys right below Deion Burks. Brendan Thompson, J.J. Hester. Thompson has 184. J.J. Hester has 153. Jacob Jordan, in 2 games, has 12 receptions for 124 yards. And he's a preferred walk-on. Kind of gets my drift here. Like, I'm not going to blame the wide receiver situation on Emmett Jones because Emmett Jones has been dealt a bad hand. Your top 5 wide receivers are out. You have nowhere to go at this point with that room. What the hell is Jacquez Petaway doing? Where is Zion Kearney? Like, we've seen Zion Emergence all year, and it just doesn't work. Like, Zion Emergence, outside of the speed difference between him and Jordan, very similar player in terms of their build, but Jacob Jordan has been more impactful. Why is he only just now seeing the field over the last 2 games? Why hasn't he seen the field earlier? And I think a lot of it is Seth Luttrell maybe didn't want to play preferred walk. I don't know. But if you're Joe John Finley now, you have to see what Jacob Jordan has been for you these past 2 games, and you've got to figure out a way to get him more involved in this offense. which is crazy to say. A guy that has 6 receptions, you need to figure out a way to get him more involved. But it's true. You got to figure out a way, because him and Bauer Sharp have been your only reliable pass catchers. And Bauer Sharp hasn't even been that reliable. You guys have seen the amount of drops he's had. But Bauer Sharp he's a guy that Jackson Arnold can look to, and he's averaging 7.6 yards a catch on 32 receptions. So it's not terrible. But I look at Jacob Jordan and I say, okay, Jacob Jordan, if you go out there and get me 75 to 100 yards a game, right? I don't even need you to get touchdowns. Just give me 75 to 100 yards a game. Oklahoma's going to move the ball way better. But we need to give this guy the props. We need to give this guy the dues, because Oklahoma found him. Finally, they found him. And now it's just a matter of, can we make schemes to get him open, create separation, and get him the ball? And I do believe when you get Deion Burks and Jalil Farouk back with Jacob Jordan, maybe this wide receiver room looks a little better. And although the offensive line is not good and they don't give Jackson Arnold a ton of time when it comes to pass the ball, Jackson Arnold only needs maybe a couple seconds to find one of those guys, because Jalil Farouk and Deion Burks are experienced enough to be able to create that separation. They are athletic enough to create that separation. And so maybe that makes the job on Jacob Jordan a little bit easier, especially in short yardage situations. But the problem is now, until you get Jalil Farouk and Deion Burks back, any team is going to look at Jacob Jordan and say, all we need to do is cover that guy. All we need to do is make sure Jacob Jordan can't catch the ball. And all you got to do is make Brendan Thompson or J.J. Hester beat you, which J.J. Hester has a lot of drops. J.J. Hester can't catch the ball. Brendan Thompson, it seems like, sometimes he can get that separation, but the majority of the time he's going to be covered. Any team's going to take that. This is a scenario right now where Oklahoma just can't beat you through the air. And you need more help. And, I said this in the Discord a couple days ago, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, and I said, when it comes to Oklahoma's talent at the wide receiver, I think they've done a good job at maybe getting some really just solid dudes there. But Oklahoma needs to start landing the 5 stars. And I don't know if this means donors need to step up and pay more money. You need to subscribe to the Oklahoma One, they have more money for NIL, but something needs to happen, because I look at true freshman wide receivers all over the country making an impact right away. I see just freshman wide receivers making an impact. Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State. You have Bryant Wesco at Clemson, Ryan Williams at Alabama, Ryan Wingo at Texas, Cam Coleman at Auburn. All of those guys are freshmen that are making impacts for their teams right now as a 5-star wide receiver. So maybe you need to go out there and just start landing some of those dudes and start stacking the talent even more than what you have, because having 5 injuries in this room, it hurts you really bad. But the other guys that you have behind those 5 aren't making an impact outside of Jacob Jordan, who is a preferred walk-on. So I don't know what the answer is at this point, other than that you found him and you need to get something going for him. Like, you need to find a way to get him open, create separation, and get Jacob Jordan the ball. So if you guys have made it this far and you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, join the discussion below. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time.